we are here in Salt Lake City on Main Street. We're headed to the Eccles Theater, and we're kicking off our brand new YouTube channel tonight. We met at the theater, and since then we've seen over 150 Broadway quality shows, whether that's on Broadway in New York or here locally. But yeah, we're kicking things off here at the Eccles Theater. What's the show?
We're going to see Something Rotten. We actually saw this in New York a couple years ago, right there in the front row. I'm excited to see what they do with it now.
It's gonna be a lot of fun. Let's head inside.
This is a show that's basically a musical about the very first musical. It's really funny. If you're a super musical theater nerd like we are, there's a lot of really insider references. In one song, there's literally 20 references to musicals alone in one song.
It's a lot of fun. It's fun to watch this show and see the story unfold, but also kind of relive a tiny little second of each of those other musicals put into this one. Also, great night. Pascal is supposed to be in the cast. We heard that he wasn't in last night's show, but we're hoping, fingers crossed, that he'll be here tonight in this show. And it'll be fun to see him.
I'm interested to see how Adam does this versus we saw this on Broadway with Christian Borle and he won the Tony for it. So it'll be interesting to see how they do it differently in this cast. The other lead of this show, his name's McClure, and he starred in the title role of Chaplin on Broadway, and so they've got a pretty powerhouse cast on this tour this time.
We definitely don't get many tours like this with some Broadway veterans in the cast, so this should be a lot of fun. But here at the Eccles Theater, we're gonna run down and hit our seats. Okay, we're about to walk in. Here we go. We just finished up the show and we're headed to the Regency stage door for the Eccles Theater. This is one of the first times I've had this open. As we're walking out, there's a lady talking about her favorite line from the show is the "Don't be a penis, the guy is a genius" line.
I loved it.
It was awesome. She was like 90.
Oh no, go in.
Yeah, I hope that Adam comes out.
Adam, come outside.
Hey guys. Hey there, how you doing? There you go, thanks for coming. Thank you guys.
You were great. Thank you so much.
Hey, you're
You have
awesome.
a great voice. Thank you so much.
Was it a musical or was it one of my shows? It was one of my shows. Oh,
Thank you so much.
Jack, what's your favorite role you've ever done?
it's really hard to say.
I would say you've done a lot.
It's generally the one that I'm in. So I would say Shakespeare right now.
Let's all do it. Seriously,
Pleasure. Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you very much. Hey
Guys, thanks so much for coming.
Thank you. The show's great.
Thanks, man.
Oh, thanks for coming.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, we need pictures.
So I'm not normally a fangirl type of person, but I literally got butterflies after meeting Adam Pascal tonight in the stage door.
It was really cool to shake his hand and to just chat with him. All right, so we just got home from going to Something Rotten at the Eccles Theater. There'll be times when we'll review shows and go into things a little bit more in depth, but this show's been out for a little while and there's a lot of things that have already been said about it. A lot of people know a bunch about it already, so we've decided to do things a little different. We're gonna do 3 good things and 1 bad thing from the show. So do you wanna kick us off?
One thing that I really loved about the show, it had a lot of great dancing. I'm a sucker for tap dancing, and they kind of even joke about how there's a nice dance break in any musical, and this show had plenty of great dance breaks.
I think one of my good things was I just love all the references to the other shows. We saw this before when we went to New York, and there were some that I caught tonight that I didn't before. And I mean, to roll into another one, I think seeing it the second time made the story make a little bit more sense. And also just helped me understand it a little bit more. I wasn't trying to take it all in this time. I could really follow the story. So I think that's number 2 good thing for me. And I think I'm just gonna do my third. The third one for me was when Nigel is kind of remounting his play after he kind of goes through his loss with his girlfriend. And they start talking about Hamlet, and he starts just bringing it to life, right? And they do this really cool harmony of, some of the words from Hamlet, and they just really run with it, and it's really neat. I didn't remember that from the first time.
My number 2, it's funny. In some places it's a little raunchy, but I kind of laugh at those kind of things. Really, it's just one thing after the other that just make you laugh. So it was so fun to just hear the big, huge bellowy laughs coming out of the audience, and we were two of the people doing that the whole entire show. My third, I think it was an extremely strong cast tonight. Rob McClure as the lead, he was fantastic. I thought Adam Pascal did a really good job as Shakespeare. And then the other person that really stood out to me was the woman who played Portia. And this is my history. I used to watch a show with my girlfriends. It was Legally Blonde. It was a show on MTV to cast Legally Blonde. And the girl who played Portia was actually first runner-up, and it was casting who was going to be the next lead on Broadway, and she was this close. And I think her performance tonight shows that she should be on Broadway. She was spot on with that Puritan role and her beautiful soprano voice.
Yeah, definitely. There was a lot of great casting, and we just don't get tours with casts like that. So that was definitely a lot of fun. To move on to my bad, I mean, this is the same bad that I had when I saw this show the first time. It's a little too out there for me. It's not exactly my definition of a show that I love. That being said, it did grow on me this time, seeing it a second time. But for me, just the whole omelet thing, I mean, they just take it way too far, and they just keep going
dancing
and keep
omelets.
going. And there's a full-on chorus of dancing omelets. And I mean, they layer it in really well, and there's a lot of really great references to musicals in that scene where they're doing the omelet musical number, but still just a little bit too far for my taste.
You know, for me, the bad, maybe I'm just different than everybody else, but, you know, I've been reading a lot of my friends' reviews on Facebook, and they're all saying how much they loved Shakespeare and that number that he had. And I think Adam Pascal is a great performer, but to me, it's just the content. As soon as the show goes to that very first Shakespeare number, the rest of the show just pretty much went downhill for me. However, you know, the show starts with the couple great numbers, the Welcome to the Renaissance, and then they go into that musical number, and that, I think that number, you mentioned how great it was before, that's worth the price of the ticket for the whole entire show. So if you're on the fence of going to see it, just go see it for that one number.
Go see it for it's a musical number for sure. It's great. But altogether, a really great show. Really glad we got to see it a second time, and like I said, so cool to have such a strong cast here in Utah. Good to go?
Yeah.
First show's under the wraps.
We did it.
Very cool. See you guys. That's a wrap on the first episode, and just headed downstairs. Just wanted to show you guys what we do with our playbills. We keep track of them in these binders. It's a great way for us to keep track of the shows that we've seen and where we've been.